Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, policymakers, students, and space enthusiasts, today we gather to reflect upon one of the most defining collaborations of the 21st century, a partnership that goes beyond borders, beyond politics, and even beyond our planet. The India-United States Space Technology Partnership is not merely a bilateral agreement. It is a bold vision for how two of the world's largest democracies can work together to shape the global economy, the future of technology, and even humanity's destiny in space. We live in a time where geopolitics is no longer limited to the Earth's surface. Nations now compete in the skies above us, in satellites orbiting the Earth, and in the possibility of establishing human presence beyond our world. The India-US partnership is set to become a lighthouse of cooperation in this exciting yet challenging journey. Let us begin by looking at history. The space race of the 20th century was dominated by the United States and the Soviet Union. India at that time was just beginning its humble space program, with scientists launching small-sounding rockets from Thumba Corolla. Fast forward to today, India's ISRO is one of the most respected space agencies in the world. Known for cost-effective missions like Chandrayaan to the Moon and Mongolian to Mars. Meanwhile, United States, through NASA and private companies like SpaceX, remains a global leader in space exploration and innovation. Historically, the US and India had limited space cooperation due to Cold War politics. But as the world changed and as India proved itself as a reliable partner in technology and defense, space emerged as a new frontier for collaboration. The signing of the US-India Civil Space Agreement in 2008 laid the groundwork for what we are witnessing today, a deepening and strategic partnership that is set to transform global markets. When we talk about the current India-US partnership in space technology, it is essential to understand that this relationship did not emerge overnight. It has been decades in the making, marked by phases of cooperation, pauses, and renewed engagement. The historical context sets the stage for why today's announcements and commitments are so significant. The roots of Indo-US collaboration in space date back to the 1960s, when India was still a developing country, and NASA played a role in assisting the Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, during its formative years. However, the relationship faced major setbacks in the 1990s. After India conducted its nuclear tests in 1998, the US imposed sanctions that restricted the transfer of sensitive technologies, including those in the space sector. For nearly a decade, the relationship remained strained, and India sought to strengthen indigenous capabilities, leading to remarkable domestic achievements such as the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle (PSLV) program. Yet, even in this period of turbulence, dialogue channels remained open, signaling that both nations recognized the long-term value of cooperation. The 2005 US-India Civil Nuclear Agreement became a turning point, not just in energy but also in technology sharing. It laid the foundation for broader scientific collaboration, including space. Following this, the two countries signed agreements enabling cooperation in lunar exploration. Notably, NASA's Moon Mineralogy Mapper instrument flew on India's Chandrayaan-1 mission in 2008, which famously discovered evidence of water molecules on the lunar surface, a landmark discovery for planetary science. As trust deepened, India and the US began expanding their cooperation to include satellite navigation systems, Earth observation, data sharing, and joint research in planetary exploration. In 2014, ISRO and NASA announced their collaboration on the NASA ISRO Synthetic Aperture Radar (NISOR) satellite, a flagship mission aimed at studying climate change, natural disasters, and ecosystem dynamics with unprecedented precision. Scheduled to launch in 2024, NISOR represents not just a scientific mission, but a symbol of deep strategic trust and shared goals in addressing global challenges. What makes the historical trajectory remarkable is how the relationship evolved from a donor-recipient dynamic in the 1960s to a period of estrangement in the 1990s, to today's reality of equal partners co-developing world-class technologies. India, once viewed as a technology seeker, is now a connovator with the U.S. in frontier areas like deep space exploration, commercial satellite launches, and planetary science. This historical context underlines one powerful truth. The India-US space partnership has matured through trials and triumphs, and today it stands on solid ground, ready to redefine the global space economy. The partnership rests on several important pillars. Satellite collaboration. India and the U.S. are working on joint satellite missions like ISRO synthetic aperture radar, which will monitor climate change, natural disasters, and agricultural patterns with unmatched precision. This data will be invaluable for global food security and environmental sustainability. The Artemis Accords and moon exploration. India has joined the Artemis Accords, an American-led initiative for the peaceful exploration of the moon and Mars. This gives India a seat at the global table in setting the rules for space governance and commercial mining on the moon's surface. Commercial collaboration. Private space companies in both nations, SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Rocket Lab from the U.S., and startups like Skyroot Aerospace and Agnical Cosmos from India are increasingly linking up. This creates business ecosystems that will shape satellite launches, rocket engines, and space tourism. Defense and security aspects. Space is also about national security. Both nations are enhancing collaboration on satellite-based defense systems, GPS alternatives, and space situational awareness. This ensures not only economic gains but also security for both democracies in a turbulent geopolitical environment. Now, let us talk about the economy. The NISA's Our Satellite project alone is expected to generate billions of dollars in data-driven services for agriculture, insurance, and climate industries. Joint research will reduce the cost of rocket launches, making satellite internet cheaper and more accessible worldwide, by creating a robust ecosystem of startups. The India-US partnership will fuel job creation, innovation, and digital infrastructure not only for their own citizens but also for the developing world. For India, this means positioning itself as a hub for low-cost space solutions, while for the U.S., it means leveraging India's talent pool and engineering capacity to maintain leadership in space. Together, they are creating a win-win model that will ripple across the globe. This partnership is not happening in a vacuum. It is happening in a contested global space environment. China has invested massively in its Tiangong space station, lunar bases, and Mars missions. Russia, though struggling, remains active in space cooperation with China. By aligning with the United States, India is ensuring it has both the technology and strategic support to counterbalance the growing influence of China in the Indo-Pacific and beyond. The partnership strengthens the Quad Alliance, India, the US, Japan, and Australia, by adding space as a new dimension of cooperation. It is not just about rockets and satellites. It is about who sets the rules of the space economy for the coming decades. Looking ahead, several exciting opportunities are on the horizon. Lunar mining, extracting rare Earth minerals and helium-3 from the moon could revolutionize energy supply on Earth. India and the US are well placed to lead. Space-based solar power. Imagine solar panels in orbit transmitting clean energy wirelessly to Earth. Joint research is already beginning. Space tourism and habitats, with companies like SpaceX planning Mars colonization. India's affordable rocket technology could be vital in making space travel accessible. AI and space data, with billions of gigabytes of satellite data. Artificial intelligence can create solutions for agriculture, climate change, disaster response, and smart cities. However, we must not ignore challenges. Technology transfer restrictions. The U.S. has strict export controls, while India is protective of its sovereign technology. Balancing openness and security will be tricky. Cost and funding. While India is cost-effective, large missions require deep pockets. Sustained funding is essential. Geopolitical tensions. Russia and China will not sit quietly. They will attempt to counter this partnership, space debris. As more satellites are launched, managing space junk becomes critical. Both nations must lead in sustainable practices. If these challenges are met with wisdom, this partnership will thrive. Beyond economics and geopolitics, there is a human story. When a child in Bengaluru watches a NASA rover on Mars and dreams of building her own spacecraft, when a student in Texas collaborates with Indian engineers on a satellite, we are seeing the seeds of a global scientific community. This partnership inspires youth to pursue careers in science, technology, and innovation. It tells the world that democracies can cooperate not just on Earth, but also in the stars. Ladies and gentlemen, as we stand at the dawn of a new space age, the India-Space Technology Partnership emerges as a defining alliance. It promises to reshape the global economy, strengthen democratic values, inspire generations, and most importantly, ensure that space remains a realm of peace, cooperation, and innovation. The future of the global economy will not only be decided in boardrooms or stock exchanges, but also in laboratories, rocket launch pads, and satellites orbiting above us. By working together, India and the United States are sending a clear message to the world. The future belongs to those who dare to dream and those who dare to collaborate. So let us celebrate this partnership, nurture it, and watch as it transforms not just our economies, but our very vision of what humanity can achieve. Thank you.